Worship of the ancient Greek god Dionysus changed human culture forever. In this video, we'll find out more about Dionysus and how ancient pottery can tell us more about him. Dionysus was the son of the king of the gods, Zeus. His mother was a human woman, Semele. Unlike Heracles, who also had a human mother, Dionysus didn't grow up amongst humans. He was taken to live with the satyrs, wild mythical beings who are a mixture of animal and human. Amongst the fun-loving satyrs, Dionysus developed a new drink, wine, made from fermented grapes. When Dionysus travelled from the lands of the satyrs into human lands, he brought the new drink with him. The Greeks honoured Dionysus as the bringer of wine. This vase was made in Athens in the 5th century BCE. It's a crater, a bowl-like vase with a wide rim, a foot and side handles. The ancient Greeks drank their wine mixed with water, so it wasn't too strong. The wide rim on a crater enabled people to pour in wine and water to mix together. So this vase would have been used for wine, and it has a scene with wine on it. We see wine being poured from an amphora into a crater. Dionysus looks on. In the animation, we see him check the wine. This vase reminds us that the Greeks celebrated the role of Dionysus in creating wine, and that they thought of him when they gathered to drink it. The vase has been decorated in the red figure style. It was made from red clay. Black slip was added all over it, leaving spaces for the red figures to show through. Details have then been added on with more slip or scratched into the surface. Names have been added as captions. Another message has also been added. Someone wanted everyone to know that a young man called Alcimachus is beautiful. Wine was a mixed blessing for humans. Fermenting kills bacteria. That makes wine safer to drink than water if you can't get clean water. That's really useful. Greek men offered a little of their wine to Dionysus as a libation, a liquid offering, when they met at drinking parties called symposiums, to drink wine, share ideas, flirt and play games. A little bit of wine can make the drinkers feel nice and make the conversation flow easily. On the other hand, too much wine makes people ill. It can also make them act in antisocial ways. They can become argumentative, stupid, or even violent. The Greeks knew it was a question of balance and knowing when to stop. This scene has Dionysus in the centre, and he's been joined by his usual followers. There are satyrs, women known as Maenads, and a young deer, a faun. Satyrs could be figures of fun, but they also represented some of the worst human impulses. Humans should use reason to control themselves. Satyrs were imagined to have no self-control. Sometimes men wore masks that made them look like satyrs when they danced and worshipped Dionysus. When the time came, the mask would come off and it was time to return to reason. What about the Maenads? These were Dionysus's female worshippers. There were mythical Maenads in stories, but real women could become Maenads for a time too. Many women in ancient Greece were made to stay at home a lot, but they could get away from the house to worship Dionysus. Every other winter, some women had time away from their responsibilities and restrictions. They would walk to the mountains with other women, take off their shoes, let down their hair, pull on fawn skins and dance together. There would be music, whirling and frenzy, all in honour of Dionysus. This was mania, stepping beyond the normal state. Frenzied Maenads were a popular decoration on vases. The Greeks had myths about Maenads even becoming dangerous during this ritual time. They encouraged these opportunities to feel free, but they were concerned about what could happen when people lose control. so this was also a question of balance. After the freedom of mania, it was time to return to normal life. Images of Dionysus often contain things that remind us of his connection with wildness, such as ivy wreaths, grapevines, leopards, fawns and fawn skins. The fawn in the animation is petted by a Maenad and then imitates the dance of the satyr. Will it end up as one of the fawn skins worn at a future celebration? We often see these staffs around Dionysus too. It's a thyrsus, made from a narthex, the springy wand, and a bundle of ivy or sometimes pine cones at the top. These are distinctive to Dionysus and his followers, and they're another reminder of his wild nature. This vase shows Dionysus as quite a mature figure, with his long beard. In the second half of the 5th century BCE, vase makers began to show him looking much younger, like a beardless youth. But you can still tell it's him by the ivy, grapevines, satyrs, Maenads and animals that you usually find round about him. The decoration on the vase shows quite a quiet scene. Dionysus builds the scene like a theatre director. He brings his followers together, assembling his cast. At first, the satyrs are behaving, and the Maenads are listening pleasantly. The wine flows, and the animation shows how the situation builds towards something more frenzied. Only Dionysus himself stands outside the mania, watching as it takes hold of his followers. Dionysus's direction of the scene is appropriate. After all, Dionysus, the god of wine and mania, also became the god of theatre and drama. How did that happen? Dionysus could be honoured with sacrifices, libations and dancing. Gods could be offered other things too, such as artworks and people's effort and skill. The ancient Greeks thought their gods were pleased to watch humans competing in their honour, in sports, poetry and music. This is how drama developed. Many gods were offered songs sung by choirs or choruses of men singing and dancing together. Children also sang in choruses of boys or girls. A song sung by a chorus is a choral song. A choral song honouring Dionysus is called a dithyramb. Dionysus and other gods might also be offered a choral song called a paean, a song asking a god for help or thanking them, as the Greeks at Troy asked Apollo for help with the plague. These choruses were an important part of ancient Greek culture. As well as singing in a group, the chorus would have a leader. The leader and the chorus would sing back and forth to one another. Aristotle, writing in the 4th century BCE, tells us a lot about how this sort of singing and dance developed into drama. Poets and singers experimented with choral singing. They brought together different sorts of choral song. Now, instead of only the chorus and chorus leader singing to one another, another person would come on as an actor, pretending to be a character. That actor would sing exchanges with the chorus and their leader. Wearing a mask helped them to take on the role of another person. This is typical Dionysus stuff, letting go of your normal self for a while in honour of the god. This created a new way of telling stories. It was as if the person in the story was appearing before the audience. This was drama, and it was absolutely spellbinding. The playwright Aeschylus added a second actor and reduced the size of the chorus. Now the actors could talk to each other, as well as sing, dance and interact with the chorus. Sophocles added a third actor and experimented with scenery. The chorus remained a key part of the play, contributing to the story performed by the actors. The chorus also took on different identities. Often they represented the Athenian community. Sometimes they played citizens of other towns, such as Argos or Thebes. Sometimes they played women, although all the performers were male. In comedies, the chorus might be something more playful, such as birds or cloud goddesses. By this time, drama had become a key part of the worship of Dionysus at Athens. Plays were performed for him at many of his festivals. The city or Great Dionysia was the big one, held in Athens in the spring. The Great Dionysia involved processions through the city and onto the sanctuary of Dionysus at the foot of the Acropolis. Processions and sacrifices were followed by drama and singing competitions. These were held in the theatre of Dionysus, which had been specially built in his sanctuary. 3 playwrights competed in the tragedy competition. They each entered 3 tragedy plays and a satyr play. The audience would be at the theatre a long time. Tragedies had serious themes, with stories usually drawn from myths. Satyr plays were fun. They also had mythical plots, but with actors disguised as satyrs. In the comedy competition, 5 comedy writers entered 1 comedy play each. They were usually set in the real world rather than mythical times. The competition was judged by a panel of 10 judges, 1 from each Athenian tribe. The tribes also provided a men's chorus and a boys' chorus to compete in a dithyramb competition. Each chorus had 50 people. It must have sounded amazing. The winners were crowned with an ivy wreath, like the one we saw Dionysus himself wearing. Then, soon enough, the festival came to an end. In time, drama spread to other communities. It became a distinctive part of Greek culture, and theatres could be found all over the Greek world, far beyond Greece itself. Drama was much admired and later imitated by other cultures. The worship of Dionysus is the origin of the drama we know and love today in plays and opera, and in the films and television dramas that grew out of theatre. We still enjoy losing ourselves for a time, watching or acting a story as it unfolds, imagining other lives, other experiences, before we return to our own lives. These sorts of Dionysian scenes remained important in later ages too. They suggest release from everyday cares. There is freedom and fun, but there is an edge of danger. Things could get out of hand. That's where we find Dionysus. He encourages us to come out of ourselves, but we have to know when to come back.